try to ignore new dog in the background. Anyway, a lot of you guys, well, not a lot of you, but some of you guys out there have contacted me and asked me to write specifically about the topic of college and what it's like to go to college, having been a college graduate myself. Alright, it's only a matter of time before he hits the tripod, too. Anyways. I have a lot to say about this subject. Like I said, I am a college graduate. Girlfiend is actually a college graduate. Isn't that correct, Girlfiend?
Yes.
Go Eagles. Just wanted to throw that in there. College is something that I see it's as hard as you make it for yourself. There's a number of things that you can do with college that I feel that I did that made it significantly easier for me. I have a bachelor's degree, major in political science, minor in history. One of the first things I want to talk about is just basically what college teaches you. And I can tell you right now, the majority of the stuff that you learn in college, you will never use again in the rest of your life. That goes without saying. So those of you expecting to go into college and be just like, you know, just a mountain of knowledge that you're going to use and apply to your trade or job or whatever, what have you, the majority of what you learn is just not going to be used in real life. And you just, you know, have to accept it. It's just the protocol, just the system, just the machine you have to go through to get to that.
But you still have to get good grades because employers like good GPAs.
Very true. Now, to that end of things, as far as getting good grades go, and as far as what the employers want from you, I did a little, it's not necessarily a trick, but it's something that allowed me to get my degree, but take things at a little bit of an easier pace per se, easier on the wallets of my parents. I took a number of courses at a community college. The university I went to, it's down the eastern shore of Maryland, had a community college that was miles away from it. I took like English 101, Philosophy 101, just a bunch of little, like, you know, lower level classes that get college credits to transfer to the college I was going to, and it's basically of no concern to a future employer. No employer that I ever, you know, went to or applied to a job to since graduating from college is going to look back and say, oh, well, we'd hire this guy, but he took English 101 at a community college. No, all they see is the degree I got from the university I went to. That's all that matters. So why not use a cost-cutting measure like that? You know, the debt that you have is going to be with you for a number of years. Now, I was fortunate enough that my parents picked up the tab on everything. You may or may not be in the same circumstance, or you may not get a scholarship or whatever. Think about things like that. Because I can tell you right now, the credits that you earn at a community college are the same credits and the same coursework, the same books, may be different books here or there, but it's the same basic concept and philosophies that you're going to learn about specific topics and whatnot that you would have learned in that higher priced college that you go to. Now, one of the main things that college teaches you is teaching you how to act in the professional world. That is hands down one of the things that college just completely instilled in my mind. All the coursework and everything aside, in the real world, you have structured schedules. You have structured schedules that you have to keep for a number of things. College, to me, was one of the biggest things that taught me about this. You have to have a paper done by this time. You have to be at class at this time. Class ends at this time. All those repetitive things enforces upon you what it's like in the real world. Structure of time, deadlines, all those things. That is one of the most crucial things that you can take away from college. And one of my college professors...
Ow!
You okay?
He's biting my feet.
One of my favorite college professors, one of the things he would do, and the students hated him for this, but now looking back, I'm like, that's probably one of the most valuable lessons he taught me. Anyways, what he would do is, once that, like, say the class was at 9 o'clock in the morning, that's the time the class started. Oh, seriously. If the class started at 9 o'clock in the morning, once 9 o'clock hits, he locks that door. And the college I went to had, like, the university I went to had little, like a little section of glass that you could look through to see into the classroom. Are you all right over there? Anyway, he would see the students knocking on the door trying to get in the class. New dog, seriously! He would see the students knocking on the door and looking in the class, and he would just tap his wrist, turn his back, and go on to instruct the course. Now, so many of the students thought he was a dick for doing that. They'd be like, what the hell? We're paying his salary. We're paying to take the credited courses here. What the hell? He doesn't have the right to do that. No, he's teaching you that in life, there are time frames for things. There is a set time that you are to report to your job. Hopefully that your employer holds you to that in the future. And I always, when I look back on that, I'm like, you know what? That was probably one of the... That was probably one of the more important instructors in my life. Just that you did not want to be that person that showed up a minute late. You want to take the extra effort to get there. And in life, that's what it takes to get a job done in a lot of circumstances. That's how you impress people. That's how you impress your boss, stuff like that. So, I always saw a professor like that as standing, like, you know, more higher up because, you know, I'm always someone that always said, you know, if you're given a schedule, you stick to it. If you're given a job to do, you do it. And one of the requirements he had for his course were to show up, put your butt in a chair before his class starts. And he held people to that. And that's what an employer is going to do in the real world for a good job. I mean, you may have some just slack job that, like, you know, it's like, ah, just show up sometime during the day. But in the real world, the real important jobs, deadlines and showing up on time and little things like that that might bug you in college that a professor gets mad at you for, that's going to stand up in the real world for a real job. Anyway, I think New Dog has barked himself out. As far as difficulty for college and getting a degree, going back to what I said earlier in the video, college is as hard as you make it for yourself. I'm someone that was taking a full course load, was working a job, selling lottery tickets and serving food and beer and alcohol to people for 30 hours a week on top of my full coursework. And I still managed to pass all my classes, still managed to get a good GPA, still managed to put a little money in my pocket. And just setting aside enough time to get your work done. College doesn't have to be something that is a 40-plus hour job a week. If you have the ability to read, and I'm just so dead set on this logic of, as long as you have the ability to read, you can get a college degree. The rest is just the effort and time you put into it. It may take some person a lot more time than another to absorb the material, to read through the books and everything that's needed for the coursework. But going to college isn't rocket science. And trust me, the school I went to, there wasn't exactly, you know, geniuses falling out of the trees. Some of them, anyway. College is just something that if you give time and effort to, you'll do fine. You'll do just fine. You don't need to go in being a steady honor roll student from high school. You can transition just fine into college. And as far as your degree goes, don't make the mistake I did. I picked a degree that I really didn't research that much. Political science, you know, at the time, going to college, I was like, oh, that's great. I want to be this, you know, this guy that, you know, does grassroots things, helps change the world, and just like, you know, oh man, I just motivate the people and all this other stuff. And then when I got into working it, I'm just like, this isn't for me. I don't like sitting behind a desk. I don't like working for the particular party that I was working for at the time, which was the Democratic Party. No slant against the Democratic Party. They gave me some good jobs out of college. It just got to the point where I was like, this just isn't for me. And now I'm working a job that has absolutely nothing to do with my college degree. It's something that, you know, gets me up from being behind a desk every day. And I took a job like that because I flat out could not stand sitting behind a desk every day. I wasn't a desk job person. It just isn't for me. I hated doing that. I was getting respect with the work I was doing. I was a campaign coordinator for the Democratic Party for a number of years. I was getting respect in that industry. I was getting written up in newspapers. It was great. I was getting a ton of attention and all this shit. I was like, wow, they appreciate me here. But I didn't like the job. It just wasn't for me. So think about not how much you like something, but what you want to do with that something once you get out. It's like, yeah, you might like studying politics, but what do you really want to do with politics?
Well, to be fair about that, it's hard to know what you want to do with your life when you're 18, assuming that's the age you are when you enter college. Some people are 19 or 17. But it's hard to know because you just think like teacher, policeman. It's hard to know about the different subsets of jobs out there. So, I mean, don't go for like something that's so narrow-minded that you can only go into that field, like philosophy. If you find something that's a good springboard that you can go into other things, that's great. Or, hey, maybe you know what you want to do. But he's right. Think about where you're going to go with this degree.
Thank you. That was very good, Girlfiend. Yeah, all that's very true. And again, I was just, you know, a young kid going into college, and I'm like, oh, great, I want to be this big grassroots organizer, and I got my degree in pre-law, so I always had in my mind, I was like, well, if I don't like that, I can go on to grad school and become a lawyer. But then I was like, well, that's just more desk work. I'd probably hate it just the same. So, again, think about what you really want to do, not what you want to do afterwards. Put more emphasis and thought into that. And again, like Girlfiend said, it might be hard because, you know, you don't really know when you're 18 or that young, or you don't really know till you get out in the working world what you really want to do. And to that end, don't expect jobs to be there. I mean, some people go on for years and years on end trying to find something in their field, and sometimes they find nothing. I was fortunate enough to find something in the field, in the degree that I graduated with right away. I know a lot of people that I graduated with that are still to this day, and I've been out of college for over 10 years now, that they're managing a Target or anything like that. And it's no disrespect to working a job like managing a Target or anything like that, but, you know, when you go to college, you know, do you really plan on doing that? But then again, I'm someone who's working a job that's not even in the field that I went to school with either. Anyways, I've droned on and on about this. I don't know, I might make another part to this. I just don't want to, you know, drown this out with too much blabbering here. So, anyways, your guys' feedback would be appreciated if there's anything else that you want to know about specific college life. I know, but it's so long, Girlfiend. Is there anything you wanted to add? I'll give Girlfiend the floor here.
College is a time of transition, remember that, and it may be tough, but just remember that it's going to end and things are going to be completely different. So if you're in a hard spot during college, it's okay. You got people that love you out there, and go to them. And if you need anything, go to Archfiend. I mean, if there's absolutely nobody else, go to Archfiend. If you can, just try to enjoy what you can from college, because where else are you going to have 4 years to just fuck off and be around your friends all the time? What are you saying?
I said language. You dropped an F-bomb. Anyway. Girlfiend, by the way, went to college over in England.
For a year. If you can travel abroad, do it, because it's amazing. You learn so much about yourself and about different cultures, and it just broadens your world so much, but not everybody has the finances to do it. Even if you can only do a trip that's like 5 days, do it. Or, hey, spring break. Go on a cruise to somewhere, just not anywhere too stupid like Caribbean.
You remind me when you said spring break. One of the things I did, I took a couple years off out of high school before I went into college. And to make up for that time, I was like, well, I want to go ahead and get the college degree now. I worked full time, stockpiled some money, just so I'd have a better footing on things. Because I was like, oh, I don't even know if I'm going to be able to work when I'm in college or whatever, blah, blah, blah. I would take a full course load. I would take a course during winter break. I would take a course during summer break. There's actually 2 classes you could take during the summer break. And the reason why I did this is I wanted to get my degree as fast as possible. I got my bachelor's degree in 3 years. Now, you too can do this. You should really ask yourselves the question, do you want to get into the working world a year earlier? Because I can tell you right now, cutting down my college time by a year made a huge difference financially. Because, like I said, it gets you in that working world a year sooner. Because really tough to hold down a full-time job and taking a full course load. Really tough to do that. So think about it. Do you want to sacrifice your winter breaks and your summers to help yourself get out of college? That's something that I thought about, and I was like, you know what? I would rather do that.
But then you do sacrifice some experiences. Like, I would not have been able to travel abroad if I had done school in 3 years. Maybe your friends aren't or you can graduate a semester early too. That's an option.
Absolutely. Yep.
But college is freaking expensive. Holy crap.
I know.
You pay like $250,000 to go for a 4-year private school. And that's not an exaggeration.
Yeah. She ain't bullshitting there, people. Anyway, I hope this has been informative to you guys that are going to college or even thinking about going to college. And even you can apply even these rules to high school or grade school. Just sticking with it. Just understanding that you may think it's bullshit that, oh, I have to do all this shit just to get a piece of paper that qualifies me for the real world. Whether you like it or hate it, that's just the way it is. And, you may luck out and be like me and find a great paying job that doesn't even require a college degree to have. I was just at the right place, the right time, and holy shit, I can't be any more happier. I can tell you that with a straight face and just such certainty. I have never been happier in my life working a job and having a part-time job here on the side making videos for you guys. I've never been happier working this job right now that I have that has nothing to do with my college degree. Again, it was just a right place, right time circumstance, and it ended up being one of the best paying jobs of my life, and I love it. I love going to work every day. There isn't a single day I go to work where I'm just like, oh man, I have to work at this place and blah, blah, blah. What do? I don't know, maybe we'll talk about that another time. But for now, we're ending this video because it's I messed up. I made all the way through the video before I stumbled on my words. Anyway, everyone, have a great day, a better tomorrow, and study. Anything else you want to add, Girlfiend?
Not anything. If you have any separate questions, just contact Archfiend.
That's right.
Or if you want to hear more, you can blather on more.
Call my hotline, 1-900.
We need to end
hot
this before
fuck.
your dog destroys the
HOTFUCK. Don't call that number. It's probably a real 900 number. Don't call that number. I'm just kidding.
Unless you want sex.
I looked up something actually on the internet. It was called the College Try. Do you know anything about that, Girlfiend?
Well, see, the thing is, when you're in college, you have opportunities to experience things you wouldn't ever otherwise have, and sometimes things just pop up.
Like
so
what?
You really need to take advantage. Well, sometimes you can do things like, I don't know, drink when you're underage, or kiss somebody of the same gender, and sometimes you like it, and that is fine.
What?
Well, there was one night when we were in my dorm room. It was freshman year. I think it was the first semester. Yeah, it was the first semester.